The dismissals from duty, unsubstantiated in law, continue to exacerbate the state budget, while the upcoming judicial processes are expected to aggravate the situation even further. The School of Magistrates will accept 75 new magistrates after an agreement by the High Council of Prosecution and the High Judicial Council. The Assembly of Pedagogues has warned that they will wait until this evening for an answer by the Minister of Education regarding their requirements. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 1st of February, 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. You've often heard about the burdensome taxes weighing down on the shoulders of Albanian taxpayers. But did you know that Albanian taxpayers are obliged to pay 2 parallel administrations because of an illegal dismissal of their employees? The expert from the Center of Economic Research, Preçi, considers this fact extremely alarming, considering more than 100 million euros are going to pay for these cancellations at a time when the money could be used for investments in the construction of hospitals and schools. Meanwhile, in the administrative court, there is a large number of files threatening the budget to support 3 administrations. To resolve this issue, which is repeated every time the political power changes, experts demand that the officials who signed the dismissal of employees must take responsibility for each employee. According to the information from the Spending Open Data, in 4 years there are 13,475 transactions from the state treasury as expenditures for the execution of judicial decisions for dismissals. Among the ministries, the largest number of transactions occurred in the Ministry of Environment and Tourism, with about 466 such transactions, followed by the Ministry of Agriculture with 79, the Ministry of Energy and Transport with 66, the Defense Ministry with 61, and the Ministry of Health with 56 transactions. Moving on now to the Democratic Party chair, Luzim Basha has warned that the banking system should not finance public-private partnerships in the government. In his speech during the presentation of the DP's economic program, Basha said that these concessions are corrupt and taken from a handful of oligarchs. He stated, "This year, according to projections of credible national and international economic institutions, this handful of oligarchs is about to invest 1.5 billion euros in ghost projects that should then be funded by the state budget, which means from the money of Albanian citizens. I want to call upon them and say stop to this stupidity. I want to issue a warning that none of the contracts related to Edi Rama's corrupt government will be implemented. I want to warn you, especially I want to warn the banking sector, not to get into this adventure because it will have serious consequences. If we are ahead of a solution, let's find these corrupt contracts and leave retired pensioners penniless, children without heat, and a health system in collapse. Let's make sure our solution is clear and firm. We will bankrupt the oligarchs, not Albania and not Albanians. So I call upon the financial institutions not to become part of this pyramid. Any concession-related contract with public-private partnerships associated with these oligarchs, all of them from the first to the last, will be abolished. This is not a threat. It is not a promise. This is our decision, and we will make it a reality," said Basha. The High Council of Prosecution has started its duties, but with a lack of offices. The situation was created after the publication of Bujar Sheshi's file, which bothered the European Union office in Tirana. Ambassador Luigi Soreca has requested transparency to clarify the investigation procedures against Prosecutor Sheshi. He said the presumption of innocence of the person involved must be respected, but if a decision is made, it must be taken in a transparent way because the High Council of Prosecution must continue to work. Although he does not rule out the possibility that charges against Sheshi could be an attack on the justice system, the High Council of Prosecution chair said that all relevant verifications are being carried out. "It may be so, but I cannot say it. The Council is awaiting the fulfillment of appeals and procedures, and only in the fulfillment of these procedures will it make a decision," said the chair of the High Council of Prosecution, Gent Ibrahimi. Although 10 prosecutors have been running so far to become SPOC members, Ibrahimi says there will be other applicants as well. Meanwhile, the race for the general prosecutor will begin as Arta Marcu has a temporary mandate. The race for the general prosecution will begin on March 19th. The law gives us 3 months to prepare regulations and the method of assessing candidates, stated Ibrahimi. Until the creation of the High Inspectorate of Justice, there will be no disciplinary measures against the prosecutor, and for this, the High Council of Prosecution blames the Parliament that has not yet approved the law. The deadlock caused by the School of Magistrates due to the boycott over its policy was resolved thanks to the 2 new justice bodies, the High Council of Prosecution and the High Judicial Court. From the international point of view, this school is seen as a way to change the culture of justice in Albania, while for judicial institutions, it is a keystone of judicial reform. During the year 2019, 50 new magistrates will be admitted, and after 1 year, their number will increase by 25. Which will contribute to the increasing of capacity of justice and to guarantee the necessary replacements as a result of the vetting process. There will also be 25 candidates for legal advisors and state advocates, following an agreement between the School of Magistrates and state advocacy. And finally, tonight, we move on to the crisis that continues in the university system. Earlier today, a representative of pedagogues from the University of Tirana held a meeting with the Minister of Education, Besa Shahini, regarding their demands. This evening, however, the deadline that teachers have set for the government to abolish the decision by the Council of Ministers expires, the same deadline that accompanies the University Pact. The meeting, which lasted 90 minutes, was simply referred to as consultative, but without any solution, according to Professor Mark Marcu. He stated, "We discussed the situation in the university system and held conversations about the demands that the Assembly of Tirana discussed in their meeting. There was no concrete attitude. In general terms, the minister tried to turn the discussion into an ineffective discussion. We have discussed a lot but did not agree on anything. We talked about problems but did not receive concrete answers. The minister does not have the will to respond appropriately to the situation in which the university is stuck," said Marcu. Marcu said the professors will wait until later this evening to hear a solution by the minister. Otherwise, they will assemble a meeting with the assemblies to decide on how to proceed further. "We will wait until this evening. If we do not have an answer, we will address ourselves to the academic body for a general strike," said Marcu. University instructors have warned of an ongoing strike if their requirements are not met. Meanwhile, after meeting with the pedagogical representative, the Minister of Education, Besa Shahini, has come out in a statement to the media to express her stance in public. Shahini said the boycotts and ultimatums are not needed as the government is focused on higher education. She stated, "I think that in order to move forward, the empowerment of the existing democratic structures in universities is the best way to involve pedagogues in the discussion and to resolve some of the issues that they have rightly underlined, but the solution is not always there, but often within the university. I invited these pedagogues over to explain to them the University Pact. We share different opinions, but we are nevertheless convinced that we share a common goal, improving education in Albania. They listened to me and I listened to them, even though we did not agree in the end, but I think this is normal. It was a meeting that served to remove a series of misunderstandings some of the lecturers had for the University Pact. We will continue to listen to everyone, but we will also continue to lead. The majority of pedagogues and students are supportive of the University Pact. They are participants in the dialogue, and we have started and bringing us suggestions on how to improve this document, which will then become a governmental contract between the government, academic staff, and students to advance the best ideas for higher education in Albania. During these meetings, we are also designing infrastructural needs and concrete projects that will subsequently result in improved university infrastructures. I do not believe the boycott and ultimatums are the necessary tools in this period when all our attention is being paid to higher education and we have started a genuine process of dialogue. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.